What's up, everybody? It's Thinker St. James, and I just wanted to put out a brief video expressing my grief and my condolences regarding the unfortunate passing of the pioneering and legendary battle rapper Cadalack Ron. Since the death of PH not more than a couple of months ago, I didn't think that battle rap would experience such a devastating loss for a while. I didn't anticipate something so dramatic happening so quickly after PH's passing, but here we are, unfortunately. Unlike PH, however, I actually did know Cadalack Ron a little bit, so I just wanted to kind of talk about how the passing affects me and just some of the history that I had with him and why I thought he was not only an amazing battle rapper, but a really genuinely awesome person. I came into contact with Ron, I guess, like 6 years ago, something like that. The times might be a little bit off since it's been a while, but 5 or 6 years ago, something like that, in my earliest exposures to the written format with Grind Time, being that even though there was a lot of Grind Time stuff happening in my backyard here in Florida, my earlier exposures to Grind Time in the written format was via the West Coast guys, a lot of Fresh Coast battles and stuff like that. So Ron was among some of the first that I had seen, and at the time, this is just a personal opinion, but at the time I wasn't finding a lot of battle rappers that were also making like seriously dope music. Again, personal opinion, but that's just how I felt at the time. Also, there probably wasn't I hadn't had the exposure to a lot of some of the other stuff that was coming out at the time, but I wasn't finding a lot of the doper battle rappers that I was hearing that were making like really banger tracks. But having heard his track GUCC, which was the intro song to one of his battles, I was like, yo, Cadalack Ron, not only dope battler, but his music fucking knocks, and I wanted to hear more of it. So I contacted Ron, and I was like, you know, hey, I'm down with the music and down with your battles. I'd like to hear more of your stuff. And you know, Makina Muerte, I was like, yo, I'll take a shirt or something, whatever, you know, like whatever you got, like I'll take some of it because I'm a fan and I think that the shit's dope. At the time, I think I was a little naive as to just how much truth was in the rhymes that he was putting out and his persona. I didn't kind of differentiate the level of truth that he was putting into the rhymes as far as what he was going through with addiction and usage and stuff like that, as opposed to what was more of an image that he was putting forward. So basically what happened was I did not get any of the merchandise. I would come to find out a couple of months later, I got a call from Ron, and he, you know, was going through a really down period, using a lot, and he called me to basically apologize in a very sincere manner about not getting the music and the merch out to me. And I was like, dude, it's, you know, he explained to me what was going on. I was like, bro, like, it's not a problem. Get yourself cleaned up. I mean, help yourself out more than anything. I can wait, you know, I can definitely wait on all that stuff. Get yourself right, you know, and we can worry about it from there. At the time, I was just about to start a freestyle seminar that I was putting together for a local improv studio, as I'm primarily a freestyler. And so, you know, he was like, is there anything that I can do to make it up to you right now? And I was like, well, I'm putting together a class that is teaching the fundamentals of freestyle to improv actors, and I would love to hear any thoughts that you might have on freestyling, as he was an extremely proficient freestyler. And I was like, if you're down and you got the time, I would love to kick some freestyles with you. So we sat there and freestyled together on the phone for like a half hour, just back and forth. He was really gracious about it, and throughout the entire thing, he was just so genuinely down to earth with everything that he was saying. It was like, this was my first time ever speaking to him, and it was just like this really instant, like, comfortable conversation. That doesn't always happen with me and people, but the conversation that we were having was just very natural, and I really appreciated it, and I remembered it. And I was like, dude, anytime, that you need anything, if you're ever in Florida and you fucking, want to kick it or whatever, I invited him out to the class. I said, if you happen to find yourself in Florida in the next 8 weeks, come down and I'll, whatever, I'll get you, into the class. You can freestyle with the students and, like that. So, I mean, it was just a really positive experience to speak with him. And I really appreciated it. And the only reason I bring up anything regarding the merchandise or anything like that was because of how much in that conversation it was clear his sincerity to not want to wrong a person who was a fan of his. That really resonated with me at the time. When I posted a Facebook status the other day acknowledging his passing, I made a joke in there to the equivalent of, that guy still owes me $40, I guess we can call that even, which was a reference to that little bit of our history, and I can understand how that could be misconstrued as being a little bit off color or crass under the circumstances, but really that's just what that was a reference to. The next time that I spoke to him, well, actually, I talked to him at one point briefly via text, because he texted me kind of randomly after he battled a dude named Joe Crow, I think is the dude's name. It was in like it was like in Las Vegas or something. He battled some dude, and it wasn't, I don't think it was in grind time. It was like in an off league, and like the dude was not ready to battle someone on Cadalack Ron's level. And the dude dissed Mestizo, and that really set off Cadalack Ron. He got really upset about it, and that was the battle that he said a line that always resonates in my mind as hilarious as a one-off. He said, "You should have stuck to the Marines. You don't rap so good." Oh, man, that shit cracked me up. But, he texted me about that because he was just really upset about it, and I guess he was just texting people, to let him know about the battle and how he was upset about it. And I was like, don't let shit like that bother you. But he, this guy dissed his boy out of turn, just in a battle and had no business doing it. And it pissed Ron off because he took his friendship seriously. So anyway, so he texted me about that. We talked a little bit like that. We texted each other randomly, over the next couple of years, just kind of, at various stages. He texted me not too long after the battle with Dirtbag Dan, where he was clearly FUBAR, but fucking still killed it. And that's what I told him. I was like, man, you were definitely gone. He's like, I don't remember that battle at all. And I was like, well, whether you do or not, you fucking killed it, dude. He did fucking rip that battle in a very altered state, but that was just the fucking, level of talent that he had. I didn't even realize that when he was battling Diz freestyle and winning the Red Bull competition, that apparently he was on acid for that shit. I mean, to be able to hold it together like he did and deliver dope rhymes is something that is crazy to me, but, he was a rapper first. We texted each other randomly, here and there, and I got to see him battle Johnny Storm here in Orlando, which I guess was 2 years ago or something like that, and that was really cool. That was the only time that I ever got to meet him in person, but got to, just got to chop it with him a little, and thought the same thing I thought then as I did the first time I ever spoke to him, that he was an extremely genuinely decent and nice person. That's really all I can say. He was a good dude, and it always, anytime that I interacted with him, it was never forced. It felt very natural to chop it up with him, as if he had been an old friend. And I'm not trying to imply that me and him were any kinds of great friends. I didn't know him well, but I think that to me speaks even more volume when someone that you don't know very well gives you that feeling and that impression of being, just a cool, genuinely awesome person. And then, I mean, just to wrap it up, one of the main reasons why this is so devastating now is that I just had seen on Facebook, whatever, a month ago or less, that he had just reached his first year of sobriety. He had been posting those pictures of that app that he was using to track it. And I guess he had taken to Christianity, which was helping him out. And I just, I wished him the best. So, great, man. I'm glad that you're doing it. Keep it going. And if you're ever in Florida and need anything, holler at your boy. That was that as far as the timeline goes for between the two of us. Now, just briefly, what I feel his impact to battle rap was. I look at Cadalack Ron in the same light that I look at the comedian and, in my opinion, modern day philosopher Patrice O'Neal, who is someone who I'm extremely huge fan of. Patrice O'Neal was a person that, when he had an opinion and convictions, if he was going to say something, he was going to mean it, and he was going to put it forth in a way that told you exactly what he was thinking in the most succinct way that he could express it. And I feel that Cadalack Ron really did that with the content of his battles. He was known a lot of times as, the dude that pushed the racial shit, did the boundaries with the racism and this and that. And the way that he presented the information that he put into his bars really reminded me of the truthfulness that Patrice had. If he was going to say something, it was going to have a purpose, and he was going to present it in a way that delivered the satire and had the comedy to it, but was also, it was driving home the point. And he was very talented in that regard. And just every battle that he did had his patented style of, of comedy, and the angles that he took were always, pretty fresh, and he had the comedy in there, to kind of even out with the punches and everything. It was very well-rounded, written format, battle lyrics, so to speak. But the truth that he put forward, like I said, I didn't realize early on just how much truth he was putting into his rhymes. But when, watching back what he was saying, he really bore his soul in his battles, and, more so even in his music. And for that, the respect level that I have for him is, through the roof. So, all right, I've been rambling here. Let me wrap it up. I just want to say my greatest condolences to his friends, his family, and, of course, to his children, his sons. He was a really great person to interact with when I did. He was a phenomenally talented person, and he will be sincerely missed by myself and battle rap as a whole. All right, peace out.